Hello, how's it going? Welcome back to some more F1 Manager 2022 and another part of our Aston Martin Road to Glory career mode. There's 5 races to go this season. We're currently leading both championships. One of them looks in the bag. The other one I'm not entirely sure of still, but it's still looking good for a Fernando Alonso 3rd World Championship title. Today we have got the Japanese Grand Prix. Now that was one of the most exciting races of last season where Nico Hülkenberg managed to finish P4. So looking forward to getting back into it. First things first, we have some development points. So Pierre Gasly, I think we're now going to go for his overtaken, and finally he is now an 86 rated driver, which is fantastic. We do have another development point for Oscar Piastri as well, which is brilliant, and a development point for Ben Mitchell, so we'll move up his feedback a little bit. And other than that, I think everything is looking absolutely fine and dandy. Obviously, last time out, it was an amazing four-way battle for the race victory with the 2 Ferraris. I think this weekend it's going to be very, very similar. It's all going to be on strategy, you would imagine, but Dennis Hauger again has been suggested. Now, have we? There he is there. So 74 rated. I mean, he does look pretty damn good, to be honest with you, but we got no space for him. We've got, you know, some very, very strong drivers in our arsenal at the moment, so not really anything we can do about that. But yeah, I mean, we've got Pierre Gasly and Fernando, 2 of the best drivers in the sport. Of course, Lewis Hamilton could potentially be an option for next season, but I think the amount of money that he would command, that would be very, very difficult to pull off. But yeah, let's get ourselves into Japan. We'll get some guarantees going. As I'll say, both drivers will make it through to the top 10 shootout. As I say, I think it's going to be tricky around here. It's much more a traditional racetrack. Certainly than Singapore. I thought I was going to sneeze there, so I muted myself, but it didn't come about. But yeah, let's see how we get on here in Japan.
Konnichiwa from the Suzuka circuit in Japan. This unique track is a favourite home for motorsports, and it welcomes us back this weekend. Get ready for exhilaration and speed with the Japanese Grand Prix. Drivers will battle it out this weekend on the snaking turns of Suzuka, the only figure-of-8 track in Formula 1. High-speed downforce will be the name of the game here, if teams want to secure a place on that podium. With the season nearly concluded, time is running out for the team. Can anyone make a last-minute breakthrough? Can the leading drivers hold on? Only time will tell. There's nothing like a race weekend in Formula 1.
Right then, it's going to be very rainy on Friday practice, but it's going to clear up for the qualifying and the race. So looking forward to those. So let's get into it. While struggling with a setup this weekend, then 92% and 83%, not the best that we could have got for. Pace is looking top 8 at best, really. We do need to switch in the freshest engines. Fernando Alonso in particular has, you know, a good amount of engines left for this season. I think Pierre Gasly might well be struggling by Abu Dhabi, but of course Alonso had that Grand Prix where he was not in the best shape in terms of Q1 because of the wet weather. I think that might have been Austria, and of course took a brand new engine round there, or some engine parts. So let's get ourselves into qualifying. Q1 should be reasonably straightforward, and there you go, 4th and 6th. Red Bull looking quick again, certainly in qualifying 1. The 2 Ferraris looking good. Sergio Perez a lot closer to what he normally is, but again, the Mercedes really struggling. So let's get ourselves into Q2 and see if we can get through. Now we might try and go for the one run here.
Radio check, okay. Radio check, okay.
Okay, it's green now.
So I'm thinking traffic-wise, we probably want to go out around about here. So let's zoom it forward. And go as far as we can into the session so that we can get the best possible time in. So yeah, as I say, I think probably around there is going to be the time to go out, so that when we're starting our hot lap, no traffic out there. Right, let's go then. So this is going to be our one and only time. And qualifying 2. Because I don't think we'll get back in time to put on a fresh set of boots. So we are taking a risk here to give ourselves 2 excellent runs at pole position. Now currently George Russell a little bit on the bubble. But Pierre Gasly should be able to get a comfortable time in. Looks like Fernando Alonso is going to manage it as well. And this is what we didn't manage in Singapore. In Q2, we didn't manage to get a clean lap in for both drivers. So Norris is the man in trouble at present.
Let these guys cool a bit.
Perez is also out as it stands. The other driver's starting to leave.
Rears are hot. Okay.
Now, if you're not putting in a good enough lap time, then perhaps we could bring them in, but I think this should be enough to get in to the top 10 at the very least, given our pace so far. But tell you what, the top 10 are going to be spread by around about half a second, you would think, by the time everybody has come in and put in their fastest laps. But Norris currently the man in danger. Where is Pierre Gasly going to fit into all of this? Let's find out as Pierre Gasly comes up to the line. What's it going to be? It's a 1:27.2, which is enough for second at the moment. Fernando Alonso now coming around the final corner, and it's a 1:27.3, which will be third. That should be more than enough to get through to Q3. We'll keep an eye on the other guys, of course, as they start their final flying lap now. And Sebastian Vettel will be the first man over the line.
Okay, and all the way to zero. All the way to zero. Car off.
With a new lap time. So okay, Sebastian Vettel is going to be over the line first. Where is he going to finish? Here he comes. Sebastian Vettel through the final chicane. He's going to swing round. This is going to tell us whether we're going to get through or not. Sebastian Vettel comes over the line. Where does he go to? He goes 8th. What about Albon? Albon over the line next. Not good enough. Bottas goes above. What about Russell? Can Russell get into the top 10? He goes 3rd. What about Zhou? Zhou Guan Yu comes across the line. 13th. What about Ricciardo? Ricciardo coming through now. He stays 11th. He is out. Verstappen goes through. He is up to 2nd. Hamilton. He's no improvement. Perez comes through. He goes 8th. Leclerc goes quicker. Here comes Sainz. Where does he finish? He goes 2nd. What about Norris? Can he knock out Bottas? Norris goes 11th. Ocon improves slightly, but doesn't improve his position. So it is Lando Norris and Sebastian Vettel who are the surprises out in Q2. And joining them are Daniel Ricciardo, Zhou Guan Yu and Alex Albon But what a top 10 shootout we are in for. It is going to be incredibly close. If you look from 2nd down to 10th, only half a second. But Charles Leclerc, once again, looks like he's dominating in qualifying. But this time we've got 2 sets of brand new soft tyres to have a go with. So let's see what we can manage here. Fernando Alonso's going to go out there first. He's going to try and get that time in.
Radio check, okay? Radio check.
Green light, green light.
So there we go. Headed out now. And then we are doing our flying lap. There is going to be a bit of traffic, but hopefully we'll manage to avoid most of it. So here comes Fernando Alonso then. He's going to be starting his flying lap. What can he do? There's a Ferrari not far in front of him. Don't actually know whether that Ferrari is on a flying lap. No, they're not. They're going to get nicely out of the way of Fernando. It should be alright. We get round the hairpin and then Ferrari gets nicely out of the way, please. Yeah, so Fernando Alonso not really impacted by that. Pierre Gasly, meanwhile, he's going to struggle. Because look at this, there's a Red Bull not far in front of him, but again I suppose through the hairpin. He's lost a little bit of time there. Meanwhile Fernando Alonso, purple of course in the middle sector. It's all going to be whether that Ferrari is going to be any better. And here we go, Fernando Alonso up to the line. It's a 1:27.2, which is a decent time. That's better than what he managed in Q2. Pierre Gasly not going to quite be as quick here. He's going to fly around the final chicane. So here he comes, Pierre Gasly. It's probably going to be a 27.5, 27.6. It's more like a 27.9. So yeah, not the best from Pierre, but that's mainly down to traffic more than him. But Charles Leclerc currently on pole position. The 2 Ferraris ahead of us in 3 and 4 as it stands. But it's all going to really be whether Gasly can get back up there. Max Verstappen has put in a very good lap. He's very close to Fernando Alonso. Ocon a couple of tenths behind. Perez well off the pace, it would seem. Now I'm going to desperately try and be the last people over the line. So there goes Gasly. He's going to go first. And then Fernando Alonso has possibly our best chance of pole position. Is going to be last man over the line. But Bottas is going to pass first. We'll watch his progress throughout his lap. But here we go then. Pierre Gasly, let's run on board with the Frenchman. He is in desperate need of trying to get his season back on track. It has gone wrong in the last few Grand Prix. I'm sure he'd admit that as well. But he is still only 35 points behind in the championship. It's still in his hands. If he wins every race from now until the end of the season, well, at the very least, he'd be level on points with Fernando Alonso. And that would be if Fernando finishes second every race, which is possible. So here we go then. Bottas goes 6th. He goes above Gasly. What about the two Mercedes? Hamilton goes 6th. Russell goes 5th. Leclerc, does he improve at all? No, he doesn't. What about Sainz? He comes up to the line, and he doesn't do any better either. What about Verstappen? No. And Ocon does improve, but doesn't improve position. Perez is the big one. Where is Perez going to fit into all of this? As Pierre Gasly green in both sectors so far. There goes Perez over the line. Where does he go now? He goes 6th. So Alonso at least for 3rd. Here goes Gasly up to the line. It's a 27-2, and he goes 4th ahead of his rival Max Verstappen. Can Fernando get anywhere near pole position here? He's green in the middle sector. He comes up to the line. What can he do? It's a better lap, but it's not better enough. He beats his... Well, actually, it wasn't an improvement in the end. It was an improvement in Sector 2 and 3. But Fernando Alonso beats his teammate by 1,000th of a second, which is, in the end, being calculated as 2,000ths by the look of it. But is a 10th behind Carlos Sainz. But Charles Leclerc, once again, dominant in qualifying. Excellent consistency from him with a 1:26.9s. And he's going to take some stopping in the Grand Prix tomorrow.
It's time for the final touches here on the grid, ahead of today's race.
There was some astonishing work from Aston Martin during qualifying, and their drivers are now poised to have a very strong race start. These past few days, Ferrari have been absolutely thrilling their fans. Now let's see if they can make the Tifosi proud by capitalizing on that grid position. And the sun is shining bright here today. This is perfect weather for teams and drivers alike to show us what they're capable of.
But now it's time for the team's cunning to emerge and for the driver's talent to shine. Let's see what's in store for us at the Japanese Grand Prix.
Okay then, I think we are ready and raring to go for this Grand Prix. Let's have a little look at strategy. Again, they're suggesting softs. I mean, it's looking like a 2-stop race. I think, did Nico Hülkenberg do a one-stopper last year? Do we try and do a one-stop race with Pierre Gasly? Let's see if we can pull it off here. How far into the race would we have to go? I mean, this is possible. And that's going to be 21 seconds quicker, apparently. We leave a little bit in the tank to push at the end of stints. But yeah, I think with Pierre, because his championship is a little bit more over, I think perhaps the one-stopper is the way to go. I'm actually going to swap these two round. I'm going to go medium and then soft for Fernando, but he's going to be attacking the whole way. And it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top here. Who is going to be the victor? So Fernando Alonso is going to be attacking the whole Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly at the start of the race will be given that option to attack. We're going to fill both of their cars with as much fuel as we can so that we can attack in the early stages and try and get ahead of Ferrari. That's ultimately what we need to do. So let's get ourselves into the race. I'm really hoping that, yeah, those strategies have saved. So without further ado, let's get into the race. Here we go. It's going to be exciting, this. Different strategies.
It's bright and sunny as the drivers line up on the grid. Looking at Fernando Alonso here. They're up in 3rd position, tantalisingly close to pole. Next for the team, it's Pierre Gasly. They might not be in the top 3 spots, but things could change fast once the race gets underway. Will their hard work pay off today?
Here we go then. It is going to be race day here in Japan.
Japanese Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Lights out, away we go at the start of this Grand Prix. Both Ferraris on soft tyres and it's Charles Leclerc leading the way. But Fernando Alonso might have a look round the outside of turn 1 to try and get into second place past his good friend Carlos Sainz. That's exactly what he does. Very good stuff from Fernando Alonso. He's up to second. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen has got up past Pierre Gasly, who's now under pressure from George Russell. George Russell is having a little look, but he can't get past before the Degners. But he is going to be absolutely on it as well, is George Russell on those soft tyres. He is attacking, and George Russell now potentially having a look at Pierre Gasly towards the first hairpin on the track. Sergio Perez currently in 7th, and then we got Bottas in P8. Ocon is P9 with Norris in 10th. Hamilton starting at the back of the grid due to a grid penalty, so he'll be trying to make early inroads. Interesting that he's gone for the soft tyre, and in fact everybody except us have gone for the soft tyres in the first stint. That is huge in terms of this race, because we are on a different strategy once again to the guys around us. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso side by side with Charles Leclerc. Oh, this is going to be so close, but Leclerc holding his own. But can Fernando had to pull out of that. It looked like he was going to be run into the wall. And it's Charles Leclerc that leads the way.
Good, come on.
Is Carlos Sainz going to be able to make the move back into second place? Or is Fernando now going to have to graft and try and get himself closer to Charles Leclerc once again? But that was exciting stuff there. And we've got a bit of a train forming behind. This is all really falling into place for Pierre Gasly, because he's going to be the slow and steady wins the race type of character. If he can stay in a little bit of a DRS train and not use too much of his tyres, then he can absolutely go for it once people have started coming into the pits and he's got a little bit of clean air. Gasly, of course, is going to be in that good position. Fernando Alonso chasing after Charles Leclerc at the start of this Grand Prix. But that was an exciting start. First few corners, I really did think Fernando Alonso was going to get him there as he went down the inside of 130R. And here he goes again, Fernando Alonso chasing after Charles Leclerc. And this is Fernando rolling back the years, because remember all those years ago where Alonso was chasing Michael Schumacher in that Ferrari. Back then he was in the Renault, of course, and an unbelievable move around the outside of 130R. And Fernando Alonso definitely is quicker than Charles Leclerc at this stage of the race. Now we are going to have to pop that back down to neutral. We're going to have to pop that back down to balanced. Fuel is not going to be
Okay.
an easy thing to manage in this race, but we will try and manage it best we can. But Fernando within half a second of Leclerc already. He is attacking beautifully. Carlos Sainz currently in 3rd, and then Verstappen has slotted into 4th. Gasly holding on to 5th as it stands, ahead of George Russell. But remember, Gasly's going to gain 25 seconds or so through one less pit stop, so it's not crucial that he stays with them, but he can't drop 25 seconds behind particularly, because the guys around him are going to be attacking. And here goes George Russell, the first of those that may well pass him here. And 2 steps in tyre, that's going to be tough for him to hold on to here, as George Russell is going to eye him up round the outside of 130R. This is going to be a move I would imagine George Russell's going to be able to make. Not quite. Stays in front for now, but has dropped out of the 1 second window to Max Verstappen, so It is going to be a simple DRS pass for George Russell, you would think. So there goes George Russell. He's now got the outside line and he is through before we get anywhere near the corner. And, well, Fernando Alonso has passed Charles Leclerc. So Alonso leading the race.
They've moved up a place.
Gasly down to 6th, and well, I'm starting to think we've maybe made the wrong decision here. It's Gasly very much struggling to keep these cars behind on these hard tyres. There might be a reason nobody went for the harder compounds. But just cling on to Russell. That's kind of what he needs to do now. He doesn't want to drop down to sort of 12th where Vettel is. That could happen. And Fernando Alonso, meanwhile, leading the way. Absolutely attacking away here. And Leclerc is, of course, going to have another chance at Fernando here. And I think these two are in a league of their own at the moment. They're going to pull away. It's just such a shame that the other guys weren't in the same league as us in the sort of mid-season battle. That's where we pulled away, and Charles Leclerc once again takes the lead of this Japanese Grand Prix. That is going to happen lap after lap. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen closing in on Carlos Sainz. Sainz certainly seeming a little bit slow at the moment. Gasly still following George Russell. So let's zoom it forward a little bit. It's going to be a little while before any pit stops, and this race certainly starting to settle out into its different phases. Let's hop on board with Fernando. Is he going to have a look at Leclerc? Not quite. Thought it was going to be a move at 130R, which is unbelievable to watch in this game. And here we go again with DRS. It should be a formality for Fernando to get past him. And that's exactly what happens. Alonso is through.
This is good.
Essentially what we're trying to do is save up enough fuel for later on in the race, because Alonso is going to be on those soft tyres. He's going to be the one attacking at the end of this Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly, meanwhile, is he going to be able to get past George Russell? I don't want to attack yet. With Gasly, but somebody's locked up. And might bet Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc's in the wall. What has happened there? Charles Leclerc is in the wall.
I think that was a crash. Let's see
what has happened.
There. Okay, here's the Ferrari.
So Leclerc was following Fernando. Locks up, and wow, he could have took Alonso out there.
Nobody else was involved.
He could have took Alonso out, and that would have been big for the championship. The cynic inside me is saying maybe that's what Ferrari were trying. But Leclerc now, I think, is he going to be out of the race?
Watch this. There's Leclerc.
We're going to see it again.
They're forced wide, and there we can see them slide off.
I don't know. He's still sat there.
And the team had
currently. No, he gets away now. Not far behind Nico Hülkenberg, so Leclerc has dropped. Now down to the back of the grid, and Fernando Alonso is going to be able to open up the gap to whatever he wants, essentially. Now we'll give it a couple of laps, and then we might think about trying to hold back a little bit, look after the tyres a touch. Yeah, Sainz back through. zoom it forward. Is Alonso going to be able to stay ahead of Sainz? It's certainly looking that way for now. So let's drop him back down to aggressive now. Let's look after the tyres a touch. Try and prolong them a little bit longer, just so that we've definitely got enough tyres at the end of the race to hang on. But Alonso dominating the race at the moment. There was brief yellow flags there.
Looks like there's been
It
a
was
lock
Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, that was Alonso has ran wide. He's made a big mistake there. He's very, very, very fortunate. That's one of the very few mistakes that Fernando Alonso has made this season. He just been a lack of concentration. But he is very lucky. That could have been a big incident, but it's fine. He's still leading the race by nearly 2 seconds here. Although Carlos Sainz may well close in on him. It won't make too much difference. Just going to look at his tyres. They look fine. So 2 seconds is approximately the lead. Russell doing a real good job at staying with Carlos Sainz currently. Yeah, he's doing a good job of looking after those tyres. And as I say, once people start coming into the pits, that's when Gasly's time to strike is. Gasly obviously doing one less stop than the rest. Yeah, look at Charles Leclerc down in 20th. What could have been for him as Max Verstappen now comes into the pit lane. And Pierre Gasly up to third. Let's have a little look at how Gasly got past Alonso. Past Russell. And there we go. It's into turn 1 as these soft tyres are running out a little bit. Now Pierre Gasly is in a good position. So, time to go aggressive. Time to push the fuel.
Push now.
Let's see if he can start making a move up to the back of Carlos Sainz. Good thing is Fernando Alonso looking after his tyres beautifully as well. He's still got another sort of 8 laps until his pit stop, another 13 or so until Gasly's pit stop. Let's see what tyres people have gone on to. So they've gone soft. So in theory, they should be a little quicker than Fernando at this point of the race. So where did Max come out? Max came out not far behind Lewis Hamilton. I'll be hoping that those lot will be coming in very shortly, so that he doesn't have to pass them. Carlos Sainz in the pits. He goes soft as well. Ocon now up into P3. But Pierre Gasly is the one that is quicker out of our drivers at the moment, and there goes Sainz. He's just in front of behind Lewis Hamilton, sorry. Hamilton managed to get in front of him, and now Hamilton can push on. Will he go perhaps a little bit further and try and go for the 1 stop? Maybe some cars are trying that. So Ocon 1.5 behind Pierre Gasly. Feel like we now attack with Fernando.
We can push again.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly doing a terrific job in P2. And there we go, Ocon, Bottas and Ricciardo in the pits, so Vettel continues. Magnussen's going to continue. What about Stroll? He does, but Hamilton's in. So Carlos Sainz gets away with it a little bit, I suppose. And here goes Verstappen. Is he going to have a little luck? No, doesn't manage to get past Albon this time. The Sainz now going up through the S's. Trying to get past Lance Stroll. And now it's time to zoom it through. As Alonso looks like he's going to put in fastest lap here, is he? Close. 2 purple sectors. Just his first sector that wasn't quite there. This time, nope. Another purple final sector. Alonso doing a good job. Gasly doing a great job. Just gonna check his tyres. It seems fine as Alonso's pit window is opened. Could do with extending it a couple of laps, as we said. And we should come out just ahead of Carlos Sainz. But currently they're putting in some really top times. Gasly's going to have to go back to balance now on the fuel. And we have got some yellow flags, and that is Carlos Sainz. What has happened to Carlos Sainz?
Is that a lock up on the track?
Sainz is locked up.
Let's have another look. Sainz is the
Yep, so Sainz locked up, went into the gravel. And he has dropped right down. So now it is looking like a guaranteed 1-2 for us. We're going to actually push that down to aggressive, because I don't think we're under any pressure whatsoever from Max Verstappen. Both Ferraris have made massive mistakes. And you can only really put that down to pressure. So it is the perfect pit stop for Alonso according to our pit strategy, but I am going to go 2 more laps. But currently it's looking like Pierre Gasly's in the best position of anyone, because he's only 6 seconds behind Fernando Alonso and he's got 1 less pit stop. Go back down to standard with Gasly as he's entered his pit window. I think Fernando Alonso comes in this lap onto his first set of soft tyres. I think keep the newest ones for... No, let's go for the newest ones now.
Box. Copy, box.
You can push when you're ready.
Copy.
Where is Alonso going to come out? Both Ferraris running outside of the points, and Verstappen's locked up now.
I think there's been a
Verstappen's locked up.
Let's have a look. We're
This is just
watching the Red Bull.
absolutely crazy. And once
yes,
again,
that's the lockup.
it does exactly what Sainz did. As Fernando Alonso comes into the pits.
Okay, pit lane. Copy.
And Pierre Gasly takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Alonso away. He's got off those medium tyres now. Onto the softs. And he's now going to attack. So this is what we could have in the final stint. Gasly a decent way ahead, but Alonso closing in very, very quickly. And you can see how far Alonso is ahead of George Russell. So it looks like it's going to be a return, a 1-2 here for us, and that would be an unbelievable result, but basically caused by pretty slow Ferraris and mistakes from Ferraris, and our three biggest rivals for the victory, they've all locked up and are now down the order as Fernando Alonso puts in the fastest lap of the race, a 1:30.2 for him. This is just fantastic stuff from Fernando Alonso. You cannot deny how quick he has been in this race. Now Gasly, he's going to have another couple of laps on these hard tyres. He's going to be pushing hard until there's nothing left to give on them. And then we might be able to take those mediums a little bit harder. And we should have fresher tyres to defend from Fernando in the final stint of the race. That's the plan. But George Russell currently P3, Ocon P4 with Vettel in P5, then Bottas and the two McLarens, and then you've got the first Red Bull of Sergio Perez. So, we're going to suggest it comes in this lap, but we're also going to delay it by one lap. No, Gasly's in. Gasly's in. So it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. But it doesn't matter. Gasly's away on the medium tyres and he's got 21 laps to the finish. They will probably survive the rest of this Grand Prix now. What if we were to, say, attack? The strategists think that would work. So Gasly can attack to the end now. And it is going to be a pure battle of pace.
So we're happy to let these tyres cool a bit.
Copy.
But to be honest, we do want a little bit fresher tyres than that.
Okay.
But 32 laps of 53 into this race. And it's a battle between our top two. Because of the mistakes of others. It would have been fantastic to have the likes of Leclerc and Sainz and Verstappen in this battle as well. It could have been a five-way battle for victory. But our drivers are not making the mistakes at the moment. But last year, of course, Vettel made a huge mistake and Vettel crashed out of this Grand Prix. Luckily, we haven't really had that this season with our drivers. Other than a couple of mistakes from Gasly, but yes, some people are coming into the pits now for their second pit stop. Fernando Alonso has got plenty of time before that, and he is gaining time on Gasly. Pit window entered, but he has got plenty of tyres left. So I think we're going to actually change his strategy on the fly here. I'm going to edit that and push it on a little bit longer. Because these are the fresher tyres, remember. Somebody's spun out there. Who is it? I think it's Norris.
Single yellow.
Okay.
Yep, it was. So Fernando's still pushing hard out there. Still putting in terrific laps. On 30.4, and our drivers are by far the quickest out there. Yeah, Gasly, of course, will be going to the end of the Grand Prix. He's putting in good times. No real point in Fernando Alonso coming in too early. It's going to be another fastest lap for Alonso. Every single lap putting that in there. See, Alonso, lap 35 was his quickest. A 30.459. And there you go, a 30.397. That's the fastest lap of the race for Alonso. And Ocon now in the pits from third place. We're going to prolong this a little bit for Fernando. By 2 or 3 laps. Here he comes over the line. It's very, very close. Very consistent lap times. Yeah, it's going to be the next lap for Fernando Alonso. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc back up to 6th place. It's obviously nowhere near Pierre Gasly. Yeah, we'll come in this lap for Fernando. 93% or 91%. We'll go for those ones. They should last us nicely to the end of the Grand Prix now. Gasly's going to take over the lead of the race here. Fernando absolutely smashing in the lap times.
Copy. Pit entry.
Copy.
So, Fernando Alonso is going to come in. He's going to move on to his second set of soft tyres. Fastest lap of the race from Gasly. What a way to stick your middle finger up at Fernando Alonso as you pass the pit lane into the lead. Alonso is going to have to work very, very hard to win this race, because I think Gasly is going to be absolutely fine. He's going to keep those tyres in check all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso now, this is going to be one big push. I'm assuming he's going to be massively quicker. He's 9 seconds behind Pierre at the moment.
Rears are hot.
Copy.
And we split the strategy. because we assumed we'd be in a battle with the two Ferrari cars. Now, obviously, that's not happened. And now Alonso is in an unfortunate position where he is going to have to pull out a good second a lap here, really, if he wants to catch and pass Pierre Gasly by the end of the Grand Prix. Now, he's more than capable of doing that. We'll think about fuel soon and burning that off. You can see already Fernando pulling in a little bit of time on his teammate, but probably not enough. Is he going to have DRS here? That would really help if he did. And he doesn't, so needs to be a little bit careful of the two Williams cars here. So Charles Leclerc currently in 7th. Yeah, he has only had the one stop. Those tyres are surely not going to last till the end of the Grand Prix. But that one lockup, which could have in turn took Fernando Alonso out of the race, but it certainly cost Charles Leclerc a chance at victory. So Gasly 8.5 ahead. Tyre wise should be absolutely fine from now until the end of the race. So let's zoom it forward. Let's see if Fernando can close that gap up on those soft tyres. He's just put in the fastest lap. Let's just have a quick look at fuel usage. So 10.68. Gasly's got slightly more fuel on board, so both of them have more than enough to burn. Alonso 8.1 behind his teammate. I don't think he's quite going to have enough, is he? He's definitely closing in. I suppose the real question will be, will Pierre's tyres cause him an issue towards the end? I don't think so. So let's have a look at last lap time. 0.4 of a second. He does need to close in more than that. There's only really 8. Laps to go. And again, it's another 0.4 gained, but it's not enough. Alonso's going to push and use the rest of his fuel. Let's see how much difference that would make. If we look at the end of this lap, yeah, there you go, 0.6 of a second now. Don't think it'll be enough. So it looks like Gasly's going to stop the rot. And he's going to gain 7 points on his teammate Fernando Alonso, as long as Gasly doesn't bin it. Now, both of them could well have that incident. There's 5 laps to go. And 5 seconds between them. But Alonso not going quick enough to get near his teammate by the end of the race. Gasly did a terrific job on the hard tyres at the start, sticking with the leaders, and because of other cars making big mistakes, he's now in a position where he's going to get maximum points. And we're going to get maximum points as a team as well, and we must be pretty close to guaranteeing the Constructors Championship at this point. Well, down to the final 2 laps of this race. Let's run with Pierre Gasly. Oops. It's been a valiant effort from Fernando, but it is going to be a slightly quicker race to do what Gasly has done.
Yep.
Alonso can deploy as well. And here we go. Let's see who can get the fastest lap. Gasly's been sat back pretty much the whole race. And now we've said, go and unleash your pace. Go and unleash it. Go and enjoy yourself. Go and stick in a fastest lap. They're both putting in personal bests in the first sector. Alonso currently has fastest lap. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc on his old tyres, he is down in 10th. It's looking like he might not even get a point today. And his pace was unbelievable at the start of the Grand Prix. Alonso purple in the middle sector. But Pierre Gasly is going to come round and he's going to begin his final lap of the Grand Prix. Here we go then. Fastest
so
lap.
Last lap, you can push the tyres.
For Gasly, fastest lap for Alonso. 28.5. Who is going to be able to get the fastest lap on this final lap of the Grand Prix? So Pierre through the first sector. What did he get? Green. Not bad. Alonso green as well. That's a big harvest at that corner there. And there's a bit of traffic coming up. And this would be one final twist, as if Pierre got stuck behind, presumably Mick Schumacher.
We need a charge.
Well, Gasly's battery is now completely flat. He goes through the middle sector. It's yellow, so I don't think there's going to be a fastest lap on the final lap of the race. But Pierre Gasly has done a swell job. The one-stopper worked perfectly, and Pierre Gasly comes up to the line, and he is going to win here in Japan. And Fernando Alonso comes over the line. He finishes second. Absolutely brilliant. And it's going to be Esteban Ocon. He's a long way back. He's around at Spoon Curve.
Let's check his
But
flag.
Esteban Ocon looks like he's going to be the one to take P3.
With the start.
And Fernando was very, very racy
Take the pickup.
today. He did a terrific job. But Gasly's going to gain the 7 points. The one-stopper worked. And here comes Esteban Ocon. He's going to finish on the podium. And it's going to be Kevin Magnussen. He's coming round now. Kevin Magnussen looks like he's going to be the one to finish in 4th place. K-Mag comes up to the line. He finishes 4th. And Lance Stroll, what a result for him. He finishes 5th ahead of Vettel in P6. And then Sainz in 7th ahead of Russell, Bottas and Perez. If you look at the pits, everybody was on a 2-stop strategy except Gasly, Magnussen, Stroll. And look where they finished. 1st, 4th and 5th. The one-stopper was the way to go. Leclerc didn't score a point in the end. Red Bull only got 1 point. That is surely going to be the Constructors Championship in the bag for us. It really should be. Hamilton finishes outside the points. It's just been a really disappointing race for the usual contenders. And we have picked up the pieces massively. And that 1-2 might seal both championships for us come the end of the year. And Pierre Gasly, what a wonderful Grand Prix for him.
Imagine how chuffed they must be. A podium is a real feat, and it's been accomplished in style. The Frenchman was in sublime form today, fully deserving of his podium finish here.
And I'm delighted for Esteban Ocon as well. He's had a terrific race. He's had a great season, to be fair. Up against Sebastian Vettel.
Remember, it's not just about today's trophies, it's the points that can make all the difference. Today, Aston Martin demonstrated that they can go very far indeed.
This was an extremely convincing race for them. They're one impressive team, and they deserve to celebrate this properly.
After an intense weekend, the team ends in first place in the Constructors' standings.
Coming up next, we'll be crossing the pond all the way to Texas for the twists and turns of the United States Grand Prix.
Well, that'll be excellent, I've no doubt. But you can see by the top 6 there, this was no ordinary race, but Pierre Gasly won it in the end, ahead of Fernando Alonso in second there, Ocon, brilliant third, Magnussen fourth, Stroll fifth, Vettel sixth, Sainz recovered to seventh, but he'll be hugely disappointed. Then Russell finishes in eighth, ahead of Bottas in ninth, and Perez in 10th. In the drivers' standings, Fernando Alonso now 28 points ahead of his teammate Pierre Gasly, and we are now pretty much guaranteed to win both championships. We're 48 points ahead of Sainz, and that's just a second place. It's 76 to the from Fernando to Carlos. So it would take something ridiculous to happen in the final 3 races, or 4 races, for Carlos to get back. There's only 100 points left. It's almost guaranteed to be Aston Martin victory, and that is words I did not think I was going to say. Max Verstappen a very distant 4th now, Leclerc in 5th, Perez 6th, Hamilton 7th, Russell catching up now in 8th, and Esteban Ocon takes over the mantle of 9th place from Sebastian Vettel, his teammate. But it's been a very dominant season by those 5 teams. Into the Constructors then, and we are now 174 points ahead. Now, 43 times 4 is 160... No, 172? Yeah, 172. So we are 174 points ahead with 172 remaining. We have won the Constructors Championship. Wowee. That is an amazing feeling. I cannot believe we managed to do it inside 2 seasons. We absolutely smashed the regulation change, and we have smashed the strategies this season. It has to be said, we do not have the fastest car, but we have maximised what we do have, and both drivers have absolutely aced this season so far. So come on, we have won the Constructors Championship. Pierre Gasly is unfortunately not going to get the development point, but Alonso and Piastri do, and we make a beautiful £4.8 million profit. But come on, we have won the Constructors Championship. That is brilliant, and that now means that we have got an awesome end of season 4-race battle between Fernando Alonso, the 2-time world champion, 42 years old now, and Pierre Gasly, the young pretender who's had his ups and downs throughout his career, but he's really starting to find himself this season. Can he win his first world championship? It's going to be really, really close, because I do not think any races from now are going to be like that one there, because Ferrari completely messed up. Verstappen messed up in that race as well. That gave us the opportunity to absolutely dominate that race, and I think from now it's going to be very, very tricky. There's going to be a big delta in points between both drivers from race to race, and it could, and hopefully will, go down to the wire. Do not miss it. Next time out, we are back with COTA, the Circuit of the Americas in Aston. It's going to be a good race. Last time out it was very, very rainy, so hopefully it's not that again this year. Although it would mix up the order quite a bit, you would imagine, but you're not going to get another race as mixed up as the one we've just had. It looks like we have got the aerodynamic testing period ending. I don't know whether another one will be starting. Yes, so aerodynamic testing period 6 will begin on the 30th of October, and some of our research should be coming into play. But that is where we are going to leave it for this episode. We've got 4 races to go. It's going to be amazing all the way, so make sure you don't miss it. And the best way to not miss it is to click that subscribe button, so every day it goes to your inbox at 5 PM UK time. Subscribe for plenty. Leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. I've already said the subscribe bit. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening. Goodbye.